So today I wanted to combine two movements, the vertical row and the horizontal row. And the reason I wanted to put them together is they're both pulls realistically, and they both hit the same kind of areas, so the back and the biceps. Cool, so let's get stuck in. So the first one we're going to do is going to be called a let me in. So we're going to be using the door for this. So make sure you do trust your door. You don't want to be flying backwards with the door on top of you. And yeah, we just grab the handles, feet underneath, leg each side of the door, and bend at the knee and hip, and then just row. Squeezing the shoulder blades and the elbows behind you. If we want to make that a little bit tougher, just step forwards to change the angle, so you've got a little bit more of your own body weight there. If you want to make it a bit easier, step backwards. Something else we've got for that is a towel, so it makes a nice handy grip. So we just tuck it in just like that, and then the other one too. Just going to get it nice and even, make sure it's nice and steady. And then same again, if we grab the towel a little bit closer to the door, then it's going to make it a little bit easier. And if we grab it further away on the towel, so we change that angle, it's going to make it a little bit tougher. The next one is a let me up. I've put together a little contraption behind me with an old weights bar that I had lying around. You could use a broom handle or anything like this, again, as long as you trust it to hold your weight. And I've got two chairs behind me. It's not the sturdiest setup in the world, but it'll do as long as I'm careful. You could use the under part of a table for this, just to hold yourself and pull yourself up. But yeah, let's have a go. So as you see, that's much the same movement as I was just doing with the door, just a little bit tougher as you've got more of your own body weight on there. So here's one I only recently learned myself from Greg Slater. So here we've got one folded up towel that's nice and thick, and this one's going to be our handle. So if I fold this one over, and then I'm going to pull this part of the towel down so it's overlapping, and yeah, then I'll show you what I do with it next over the door. Okay, now you see what it looks like on the door. Is that important overlapping piece that I was talking about. So when I shut this door, this towel should become a barricade so that the whole thing can't come through, and this towel will be a handle, like so. Cool. So again, this is where it gets very important to be able to trust your door. So now that we've got our handle sorted, it's important to remember that we're doing it with the door closing towards you, so it's not going to fly open when you pull yourself up, and to make sure that it's fully closed. So then all we do, if we want to do the vertical pull or replacement for a pull-up, take a hold of the handle or the towel and pull. Now I really like this one because even if you can't do a pull-up, you can use your legs to take up the rest of the slack. You can also, if you have a longer towel, this works better, but you can mess with it into your horizontal row and just use one arm just to make it a bit tougher. And that's something that goes for the other rows that we showed as well. You know, when we did the let me ins, you can just switch to the one arm on the towel and we're good. So if you've got the imagination, you can make things work with just body weight. But if you have got a few other tools lying around like these resistance bands, then we can do other ways as well. So this one I'm going to do is a bent over row. Yeah. Simple as that. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult, we could get both ends and then tread in the middle of them both. If you want to make it a little bit easier than that, but not quite as easy as the first one, we could row one arm at a time. That takes some of the resistance out. But the pointers are all the same. Try to squeeze those shoulder blades and then squeeze the elbows as they come back, drawing in the fists to your chest. There's a seated version of those rows. Just do all the same again, but sat down. So take the resistance band on the bottom of the foot like so, and then the other foot. And then just like before, we can row. Or if we want to decrease the tension on that, we just do one at a time. So there we have it, a whole bunch of different rowing variations there. There are more, particularly with the resistance bands. If we had a nice high anchor point, I could have done some nice pull downs from vertical or horizontal rows as well. But the only one I could spot was the curtain pole, and I thought if I pull that down, the wife might not be that happy. So yeah, I didn't try that one. Be careful with some of the bodyweight ones that I tried. I know a lot of them look like one of those videos of why men die younger. So definitely make sure you're happy with your door or table or whatever it is supporting your weight before you try any of those. They are at your risk. And yeah, have fun with those.